lighthouse. After a month, Lily couldn't take it anymore. I want out of here. Jeremy is out there and AK's alive, and Zayla's still on Menaki. I need to leave. You know I don't want to hurt any of you, so let me go. Negative, they answered Lily, and Lily scowled. Listen, she tried not to yell. She pointed at them. I'm not going back in that prison to cry over a man who never wanted me. I'm not going to stay put and be sad anymore. I'd rather die than get back in that room. I'm going back out there, and I'm going to be with my friends. I'd rather be alive and be in danger for once in 2 years than I would prefer to rot in there, not living at all. I'm not spending another minute being alone, and I'll kill you guys if you don't let me out of here. We know you're angry, but we have to keep you here. Why? I want to see AK. They cringed again. You're not going to like this, Onshay. There were 3 Sotnon males out there pretending they were Sotso. 2 died and 1 lived. I thought I was the only one left. You must be paired, Lily. There's no other choice or your race will be extinct. I don't care. I've been here long enough. It's a matter of science now. You must be paired. There's no way. Not after all of that. Not after all of this. That's the last damn thing I want. Now let me out of here. We'll let you talk to your friends, but they can't come here. Not anytime soon. Lily read their minds. It will mean an extinction of your race. Is this one of those assholes that just blew a bunch of people up, man? Nay, he just turned on them and he came here right away to help us. Lily scanned the Gonza. He helped AK beat them. This guy just saved every fucking one of us. Lily tilted her head. They never swore. And he's your kind, last of. It would mean extinction, Onshay. We'll make it easy for you if you don't fight us. Get to know him. You might grow to like him. I want to leave. You can't, so don't fight. We have the highest power, Lily. Do you want your friends protected or not? The Gonzo was hustling her. Let's just say we let the Antonon back out and tell them where your friends are. Oh, you wouldn't fucking dare. The Gonza just crossed their arms and looked at her. Are you threatening me and my friends, man? No, just them. She stopped and thought about this. She lifted both of her hands like she was going to scream, but didn't. She opened her mouth as if yelling, but didn't make a sound. She wanted to use her Oxar powers on them, but refrained. She didn't want them to take her powers away, so she kept them off. She flipped off the Gonza and started walking away in a huff. We gave you a new room. 288, one of them said. The other pointed at her. You have a date tomorrow. Bite me, Lily said, and left. She went to her room, and it was much bigger. It had huge windows that she could view space from. It had a huge bed that was really tall with 4 posts and a beautiful canopy. It wasn't space age. It was very antique. There wasn't anything familiar in it, except for her guitar, and that never bothered her. There were blank pages and canvas for her to write and draw on. It smelled good in the room. She took a deep breath. It was a new start. Out of nowhere, she heard the most amazing sound. She had almost forgotten it. It was the theme song to one of her favorite science fiction TV shows. There was a bath drawn for her with many candles lit. There was a bottle of champagne and a bucket of ice. So from here on out, the story finally gets better. She smiled and almost cried. She sat on the edge of the tub and the water was still warm. It was hot, in fact. She liked that. On the wall there was a screen playing her favorite TV show. She slept like a rock that night and woke up happy until... I want to talk to my friends. Nay, you need to meet him first. Not before your date, the other said. Fatate, she muttered and hung up the phone. She looked at her dresses that were new. Hey! Her hand stopped on the one, and she took it off of the hanger and held it. It looked familiar. In fact, it was one of the photos she had looked at many months ago. She stopped and looked around suspiciously, but couldn't see any cameras. She sat down with it and wept. She came into the dining room, and it too was styled old-fashioned. It was very classy, with piano music in the background. She approached the table slowly in her new dress. She saw the man for the first time. He wasn't bad-looking, but he wasn't familiar either. "Hello, sir," she said, and sat down. She folded her gloved hands upon her lap. He didn't say anything, he just looked at her with a solid stare. "You don't want to be here." "No, I don't. I want to see my friends. I want to be free again. I thought AK died." "The Gonza are not evil." "I know. You'd be upset too." "Yes." His face held no expression. This made her nervous and shy. The radio station changed. The radio changed. It put on classic tunes. Lily smiled. A waiter came to the table. "Go ahead," the man said flatly. "Champagne, please." He wrote it down, then they ordered. Then Lily asked, "Are you an alien, a hologram, or a robot?" She asked the waiter. "You're the fucking alien here, Lily," the waiter said, and they both laughed. It was a Gonza with a mask. Good, at least the cook is alive. Better service. But then she wondered where Ira was. "He'll be all right." "What do you know, huh? How do you know?" "Who's safer, him or your friends?" She thought about the Gonza hustling her up. "He is, as long as you don't leave," he said. She grew angry, and then the music changed suddenly. It was Mexican polka music. She laughed, even though she was still mad, and cranked it up full blast. "This is my jam!" she yelled, and slammed her fist on the table and stood up. He shook his head because it hurt when she yelled. "Aren't you hungry?" he said, and turned the music back down. "I'm so hungry. They wouldn't feed me today," Lily said, and the very corner of the side of his mouth barely lifted, and she didn't see it. She sat back down and tried to be still, proper, and tried to control her powers when angry. She took a deep breath and refolded her hands on her lap. The waiter returned and brought them drinks. "Aliens," he muttered and left. They both took a drink to loosen up a little. The music changed again. Lily liked it. "What day is it?" "January 30th, 2042. She changed the music again. They both sighed and pretty much ate in silence. He looked at her with no expression. "Dessert?" "Never," she said. "You eat your salad last?" he inquired. "Always." They sat and drank a little more. "What's your name?" "Reese." "I'm really mad at you, you know." "Yeah, I know." "Thank you for doing what you did. You saved AK and you have no idea what that means to me. I heard you even turned against your friends." "Nay, not my friends." "Now, how the heck did you guys live in Sotso and not get noticed? How did you hide? How did you learn about your powers and also hide them from others?" "That's too much for right now." "Fine." She held her glass out, and he swiftly bumped it and didn't say a word. I thought Jeremy died too. He's alive. But you're the only thing that keeps me from what I want and where I want to be and live. I've already been a prisoner here, and here I am again, frozen, locked up. My feelings never matter here. You're the only wrecking my happiness. This made him angry because she didn't know his side of the story. You're the only reason I can't leave, she said, and threw something across the room with her Menaki powers. It made a loud clatter. Well, you're the reason I can't leave, he said, and he threw something too, and he didn't care because no one else was with them. I thought he died, and I thought Jeremy died, and I can't even be with them, and I love them both. Oh, who do you love more? He asked. I never got to love either of them. Oh, now you want to. You're blocking me. From whom? All of them. You mean Zale? Don't you ever fucking say his name again, she yelled and threw some more things. She even tried to aim some of them at him, but he deflected them and made a big crash. Don't you want to save our race from extinction? It's not about science to me. It's about the matter of a broken heart, a healed heart if loved properly, and in bloom like a rose within ice, like an onion with no sun and no soil, just grows. To me, it means much more than science or the heart means to any of you. She tried to set the room on fire with a candle, but he swiftly put it out. He lowered his frequency and she got very sleepy, and she nodded off. The Gonza came in all panicked. You guys are going to blow the whole place up. We had an argument. Oh, we can see that. You guys trashed the place. You're going to kill us all. No, she will. She was asleep, and they not only moved her, they injected her with a shot to subdue her powers. Are you okay? AK asked, and then they let her talk to her friends. Are you okay? AK asked. Why? Lily asked. You sound all weird, AK answered. I just woke up. Are you and Jeremy all right? Yeah, we're mad, though. Not as mad as I am. Where's Ira? The IBT? You guys seen him? No. That's bad. Why? All of the enemies in Antonon Satso are all over now, and he has no enemies. So why isn't he here? I don't know. I'm so glad you're alive, and I love you very much, AK. No, I love you more, AK said. He turned back to the group. Something's wrong with her. She's drugged or something. Lily? Jeremy asked. Jeremy, she said, comforted, and smiled. It would have been us and always been us. They stole us both on purpose. Are you okay? No, she said, sleepy. I have to be with the Sotnon or we go extinct. They won't let me leave. They told us, and we are very mad, but we have to obey them. And it's logical, most logical. They are defending us. I know, I'm really tired. Have you seen Zale? Yeah, we saw Zale. You need to stay there. Why? Stay with the Sotnon. You have to. Do what they want. Save your lives, our lives, and your race. Jeremy hung up the phone, but he felt bad. Lily sighed and took off her top and cuddled with the blankets and went back to sleep. This song just wouldn't get out of her mind. It just kept playing over and over while she slept. She woke up powerless, and she knew it. She lay in her big bed in this beautiful room. She got up and redressed. The Gonza told her to pick a summer outfit. You like the sun and the water. Wear something you can get wet in. They took her to a hologram room. She entered and was on a beach with white sand and crystal blue water that was warm, not cold. She smiled and got halfway in. She wished she was a better swimmer, but she wasn't. She peered up and saw him in the distance. He just stood there, and she was still angry, but now she had no powers. She jumped some waves, and Reese joined her. They didn't really talk much. They just enjoyed the beach together. Lily had the most passionate and most sexual dreams of her life. It seemed to last forever and kept changing. Many different things had happened. It was very thrilling. She was with Reese. He's a Satanon. It all started to slow and kept moving, and it was very romantic, but started to burn with a fire that became a rapid wildfire. She woke up slowly. She opened her eyes, but felt she was still half asleep. She closed her eyes again, sighed, grabbed the pillow next to her, and covered her head with it. "Don't stop," she whispered. She lay there for 15 minutes, but could not fall asleep again. She was holding on to every last minute of it. She finally let out a quick, disappointed breath, got up, and got dressed. She brushed her hair in the mirror. She stared off into space. Her mind kept dreaming. She decided to do her hair fancy today. She looked into the mirror while fixing her makeup, and she did it darker today and took much more time. She wore something very nice. She would close her eyes and suddenly smile and then show no expression. She came out, and Agonza just stood there and pointed his finger down the hall. She forgot they could read her mind. She blushed. "Telepaths," she muttered to them, and started down the hall to find Reese. Aliens, because she's the alien. Are you an alien, a hologram, or a robot? That big mall thing that happened in Miami, are you an alien, a hologram, or a robot? Are you a robot that projects aliens, which would equal a hologram? Exactly. Telepaths, she muttered. She muttered to him and started down the hall to find Reese. She came to a door and it opened. It was a large banquet room. Yeah, this looks like, it's like that French palace that like Marie Antoinette lived in and stuff. That's what this looks like in my mind. There were lamps and shades covered in fringe. There were 6 chandeliers that hung from tall ceilings. The walls were decorated in very intricate designs. She walked, and there was a waiter standing by a table. He had a tray. He slowly moved his hand, showing her to the table. Next to the table was a gramophone. Now she could hear the record playing. She closed her eyes. She loved music from the 1920s and 30s. She sat at the table, and Reese came in. He was wearing a very classy military uniform. He wore a white cap with a shiny black bill. He looked so good it was like being punched in the stomach. She slowly looked at him from top to bottom. She made a faint smile. She took her seat across from him, bewildered. The waiter offered her a glass of champagne. She took it. It tasted like honey. She drank it and smiled. She looked back up at him for a moment and then saw the golden round buttons upon the arm of his jacket. She looked up at him again for a second and looked back down. "Do you want another?" "Yes." He waved over the waiter, who dropped off 4 more glasses, 2 for each of them. She felt relieved at this because it took the edge off of the awkwardness. He raised his glass to bump hers. She bumped his back. "You look very regal, Reese." Reese reached out and grabbed Lily's hand. She pushed her emotions through him. "Damn, Lily." He smiled and pushed his through her. She smiled a sexy smirk. "I feel your love beneath a thin sheet of ice. I have it, and I will flame it, and I will make you feel things you have never felt before. I will feed your ache. I will make you glow. I shall lift you up on my crest of waves, crash my emotions down upon you, and lay you out soft and gentle on the sand while you catch your breath." That's the best line in the story. Because he doesn't say anything because he's very, like, military-like, too, you know, in a way. He's more expressive than Zale, but not with his words. So anyway, Lily was shocked. Reese smiled a full smile. He was indeed regal and very handsome. You've been wanting to write children's books. What are you going to write about? I don't know, Lily answered. Well, what fascinates you? You do. I don't know, ships and lighthouses. The steady, cold lighthouse. The emotional, unpredictable ocean. The weary sailors only need to see the lighthouse that brings them back home. Romance, a long-lost awaited sailor. A maiden waiting for him in the bay, longing for your one true love. How about a young girl whose parents are keepers of a lighthouse, and she grew up by the ocean and the woods surrounding it? Maybe a young boy from the city moves into the house next door because his parents bought the house next to hers, and maybe he had to leave his friends and everything he knew, and he didn't have a choice. Lily looked up into his eyes for a moment longer than before. She picked up the other glass of champagne, and he did as well. He bumped hers and drank the whole thing down. She laughed. So you guys chug beer and Satso? Big time. She was grateful that he was doing most of the talking for once. The waiter brought them 2 shots of strong stuff. They both took them and smiled. We'll eat later, when we feel like it, he laughed. Lily continued the story. So she takes him to the lighthouse, and he sees the ocean so wide and so vast. He's never seen it from that perspective. Only her and her family are allowed up there. He smiles and can't express his feelings into words. She laughs and grabs his hands and chases her back down the stairs. She stops him. Never run on stairs. She points to the scar on her cheek. He swiftly gives her a small quick kiss on her cheek, and they walk slowly down the rest of the stairs. But when they reach the bottom and get outside, she runs off into the woods, and he chases her. He follows her into the woods, but he doesn't know where she is, and it gets really quiet, and he can't see her or hear her anymore. He looks around, but it's nothing but woods. He turns around, and there are no trails to lead him out. It all looks the same, so he calls her name out over and over. There is no sound except for the quiet roar of the ocean and the song of a bird. He begins to get worried. Without her, he is lost. "Captain," she cries out, "I am here, you troubled man and weary vessel. I have sought for you, looked for you for years, that ye shall return to me. Although you are tired, sad, and lost, I am the maiden of the lighthouse. I am also the maiden carved upon the bow of your ship. All my days I have thought of you, hoped for you, and longed in my heart for you to show and return home, even if you're cold, tired, and broken. I have awaited for you to return to me, Captain. I have loved you all the years through. I am your warm, awaited hope and longing. I am your long-awaited maiden of love," she said from up above her treehouse. She hung her scarf, her flag down, where he could see it. He ran towards his lighthouse and ran up the stairs to his maiden. He entered, and they both laughed. "I am so hungry from a long, terrible trip at sea. Maiden, what is for breakfast?" Lily and Reese laughed. She had never seen him smile or ever heard him really laugh before. He had heard her laugh, but had never seen her smile. Not really. "There you are," he said quietly. She looked back up at him. "You're different today. You're different too." Then his face went unemotional again, soldier-like. "What do you want the most?" she asked him. "A real home, a real family. I never knew mine. Real friends that love me, not selfish, disloyal, and conceited ones. Most of all, a maiden just like you, in your dreams, in your love letters, your longing for me, one that missed me and waited, one that felt longing, wanting to bring a broken lost soldier like me into her arms, my lighthouse.